mean, you guys did a pretty nice job, it seemed like, the first time around. So do you just say, just keep the plan going, or did a lot change because you have to play them again?
They have changed. You know, in the last 3 weeks, they've changed. They're playing better defense, obviously. So I think Coach Carroll's, plan of playing good D, running the football, and not turning the ball over is definitely in effect. And you can see his print on that team. So first time we played him, it was a lot more, taking shots and being aggressive in the pass game. But now the last 2 weeks, it's been more run game. It's been more 2 tight ends and 13 personnel sets and more Walker, than pass game. So they're definitely different than what we saw the first time. And teams do evolve, and it happens each week, So we'll see what happens on Sunday, but they are definitely different than they were the first time we faced them.
I know you talked about Walker after the last game. And, man, since then, it's explosiveness and all that, man. That's tough to defend, isn't it?
Trust my evaluation, right? That he was a special back, and he is. And obviously the more he plays, the better he looks. And every game he's making runs that's special. He's making guys miss. He's breaking tackles with his quickness and with his power in his legs. He's catching the ball better. So watching this kid early on, I knew he was going to be a good player, but boy, he's coming on fast, and every game he's making a game-changing play.
Bringing in Tristan Hill, is that hey, I like this player, or is that we need some depth there?
I think it's both. The player obviously on tape was good for us. We kind of acquired about him last week and couldn't get it done, but to have him it's a good thing for us. He's a guy that's quick. He plays the nose in the shade, and he can rush the passer. So he arrived about 3 hours ago. So I don't have a plan for him yet. We'll see what he knows by Sunday, but he's definitely eager to play, and his tape's good.
Vance, you talked about the Seahawks changing so much since the last time we faced you. How do you feel like the defense has changed since you last played Seattle?
I think we have changed a little bit as far as those young guys get more reps. Everyone evolves and gets better weekly in this league, and that's the difference in this league. You have to get better. You have to evolve because teams have a book on you after about a month of playing. You have to adjust, and they're definitely doing that. We're doing the same thing on our side of the ball. But yeah, we're getting better weekly. With Isaiah Simmons making plays he's making, and he's practicing and playing the way he's playing. It's been fun to watch. And Zach, every week's getting better. Majay's playing more, Cam's playing more. So yes, we're definitely evolving and playing more young guys, and they're getting better for it.
Do you ever wonder when a guy like Tristan becomes available and you say tape's good and all these things?
Yeah.
As evaluators, do you ever wonder, why would another team just not want him?
Well, it depends. It could be system. It can be just having having too many guys. You can't play them all. And you want to get something for those guys. But I'm not sure. But the tape's good, and I can't speak for Dallas not wanting him, but I know he can help us, and I'm looking forward to coaching him and getting him involved. But that's a great question. Nobody's letting go good players, but sometimes it's a matter of numbers, strictly numbers.
What's the difference between JJ this year and last year? The numbers are certainly different and boosted. He's leading the team in sacks.
Yeah.
What do you see?
I think the difference is he's on the field. Last year he was playing well early on, and he got hurt. About week 4 or 5 maybe? I'm not sure. But the difference is he's just playing more, and JJ still one-on-one can win, and guys understand that, and he still gets respect from offensive linemen as far as the protection slide to him or him being double-teamed. And when he's rushing on guards and centers, man, he's still dominant. He's big and strong, he's long, he's explosive, so he can still, play and be a good player for us. He's not what he was in Houston when I was with him 10 years ago, but he's still a guy you got to account for. If you don't, he can wreck a game.
How has the team evolved? Obviously, the old guys that are wide, they're shooting jump shots instead of posting up. How has the team evolved as a guy?
I think JJ is playing, he's playing with his head. He understands protections, understands offensive sets, and he's playing less snaps, so he can exert more energy and, push the pocket and do those things he did years ago, at lesser rate, but he can still do those things. But he is definitely playing with his mind, and he knows his opponent very well. If speed to power wins or quickness wins or a pull wins, those things he's aware of weekly. But obviously watching him work every week, man, it's so fun to watch him work, how hard he works and how much he puts into it with his body and the studying. So it hadn't changed from that perspective. But again, if he's one-on-one inside, he'll win for us, and that's important for our defense.
His snap percentage has ticked up a little bit. Is that on purpose?
No, it's not. And that's a problem him and I have. But it's tough to tell Jay he can't. You can't play that many snaps. And the total has. It was an agreement, but that's been broken a couple of times, and that's been our issue, him and I. But we'll fix that. But obviously he wants to be out there and play, and he's got to have more quality reps and quantity, in my opinion.
We know the emphasis is always. We know the emphasis is always on this game coming.
Sure.
But overall, is there a palpable sense of urgency with not only this game, but knowing these next 3 division games are?
Yeah. I think every week it's urgent in this league. I mean, you had 17 chances to win games, but to have 3 in a row in division for us, where this team is absolutely it's big picture awareness and weekly focus. We know what's out there. It doesn't change the week of work. It's the same week of work, but we're definitely aware that it's getting late in the season. We got 3 games that can turn our season this next 3 weeks. So that's definitely out there. But it's 1 week at a time. But winning this game, allows us to focus on the next week. You don't win this one, next week becomes kind of whatever. But it's obviously a month for us that we have to make some strides, and we're aware of that.
Are those long conversations you're having with JJ about the playing time, or is it very much like, hey, I'm going in, see ya?
No, it's good conversations. I mean, I've been with Jay a long time, from Houston to here, so we got, we're boys. We go back, but he wants to be out there, and I get it. It's a time where we want our good players on the field, and he wants to be out there helping us win. But sometimes it's not good to play 12 or 14 snaps straight, for any D lineman in this league. So he understands that, but it's tough to tell Jay, hey, come on, sit down for 5 plays. I mean, he wants to be out there, so it's a good problem to have.
Have you seen any change in him since he had his son?
I have not. I mean, he's obviously a father for the first time, and he's excited about that. But as far as the football player, I have not.
Thanks, BJ.
All right, guys, that's it.
Zach Ertz is coming up next.
I'll get more.
Hello.
Given the personalities on this team that it's Hard Knocks going to be, you think it's going to be pretty entertaining for people when they start watching it?
I have no idea. I don't know who they mic up every day. I think a lot of guys are focused on football. Ultimately, we're not as focused on Hard Knocks as probably they would like. But as a team, we're focused on being the best football team, getting better. So hopefully they like it, but to me, it's kind of irrelevant. We got a big one this week against the Seahawks. I don't know when is it premiere, next week? So yeah, we'll be focused on the Rams when it comes out, but right now, focus on the Seahawks. But we got some good guys, some funny guys. So hopefully they're able to show their true colors.
Is it easy to just, block out the cameras, the extra cameras that are in the meeting rooms and everything like that?
Yes and no. Sometimes you have hard conversations that you really don't want to have in front of other people. Some things are meant to be kept private, and they've been respectful in that regard, where if you think it's the time that you would like them not to be filming, you just kind of give them a signal and they know that. But they've been really good. It's a very small staff, small crew. So they've been doing a good job kind of just maintaining their distance. And when you are mic'd up, you just let people know so everyone can be on their best behavior.
Since you've been here, the offense hasn't been great, right? The first 7 games last year, they were fantastic.
Are you blaming me?
No, I'm not blaming you. Has there been a common thread from last year to this year as to what has been the overarching issue? No.
I mean, we're close, I would say. I mean, it doesn't matter necessarily, but I think when you don't execute properly in the NFL, you're going to get exposed. And there have been times where we just haven't executed our best. we had some really good drives against a really good football team in the Minnesota Vikings last week. We put up 26 points or whatever it was and had every opportunity to win the football game, and came down to the fourth quarter and we didn't make enough plays. And that's just kind of been the theme so far this year, is we're close and not making enough plays when we need to. And it needs to change fast because we're running out of time. Your record says what you are as a football team in this league. I don't want to. The moral victories are long gone. This is my 10th year. There's no such thing as a moral victory in the NFL. And so for me, it's just finding a way to win one football game against the Seahawks. And if we do that, we've set ourselves up for more success down the road. But we just got to find a way against a really good team.
How similar or different has Seattle's defense looked on film the last couple weeks compared to when y'all saw them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they're on a 3-game winning streak, so they're playing extremely confident. They haven't changed too much, but I feel like their confidence level and intensity has kind of raised as they've grown more confident in the scheme. Early in the year, they were kind of playing a lot of 4 down front. Now they're playing a lot of five down. They got some really big guys inside on the defensive line. So they're trying to maximize those guys' talents by really trying to stop the run and make teams one-dimensional. So we got to find a way to run the ball, especially early in the game where we're not just throwing the ball all the time, to help everyone out. We got a lot of confidence in Kyler and our skill position group. But if you're one-dimensional in this league, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. Defenses can key in on that, and then it's just going to be a long day. So we got to be balanced early on and play to the best of our abilities.
You mentioned, obviously, the importance of this game, but is it hard to keep out of guys' minds that this stretch of 3 games in a row against division teams, obviously, how important those are?
I mean, I think you look at our division, everyone knows where we stand and what's in front of us. Typically 3 and 5, you're looking at what could be a long year. But everything that we want is still right in front of us, especially these next 3 weeks. So it really doesn't matter what happened in these past 8 games, because everything that we are playing for, all of our hopes of getting in the postseason or winning the division, we have a really good opportunity these next 3 weeks to kind of lay that foundation. But it's all for naught if we don't find a way to win this one. And Seattle's playing really well. You know, they believe in each other. They're playing for one another. They're playing extremely hard, and so it's going to be a battle.
Have you and JJ taken the babies out together yet?
Not yet. He's only like 10. Co's about 10 days old, so not yet. Nah. A lot of football talks right now between JJ and I, trying to get us better as a team.
When it comes to you guys having sons so close to each other, what kind of advice did you give him from what you experienced before?
Just to enjoy it. I mean, it goes by so fast, and Madden's almost 3 months old, and he's just so much different now than he was even a month ago or 2 weeks ago. And for those of you who have kids, know that it happens so fast. And so it's obviously there's a lot going on in the season, and for 9 years of my career, everything's been hyper-focused during the season. And so when I do go home, I'm trying to make the most of that. And so I'm trying to do all my football stuff here, whether I have to stay here an extra hour just to make sure, get here early, just to make sure that when I do go home, I'm focused on that and taking advantage of those opportunities as well.
Speaking of, how else has life changed as a professional football player, as a first-time dad?
I mean, Julie's been amazing. So as a football player, and my approach hasn't really changed. It is nice when you have a tough loss to go home on Sunday night and be with him, be with your family. Not that Julie couldn't take my mind off the game as well, but I feel like when you go home with a son, it's a little different, or a daughter, if people have daughters. But there's just more to life, I guess. But my day-to-day, my preparation hasn't changed.
When you have new pieces on the O-line, and communication is sometimes an issue. Are you seeing every day in practice just that getting better and better?
Yeah, I mean, we've dealt with our fair share of injuries, especially along the offensive line. But the guys that we have are starting to gel. I feel like their best football is ahead of them. And you see the work that they're putting in, the communication, not only on the practice field, but in the meetings. Billy Price, I've been really impressed with his approach. He's a guy that came in here, we signed him off. I think he was with the practice squad. And just seeing him able to articulate and verbalize kind of the entire offense quickly is very impressive. And you love playing with the guy that's able to be loud and be in command, because everything starts with the center. He's got to tell us who we're identifying as kind of the point or the mic per se. And he's just really hit the ground running in that regard. So I really appreciated his approach to football and being the best lineman he can be. And then Cody Ford, Will Hernandez, two guys that are monsters. They're what you want your guards to look like. First guys off the bus, and then Beach and hopefully Hump this week. Josh played great. Josh Jones played great against the Vikings last week. I thought he battled his butt off against two really good players, in Zadarius and Daniil. So I think the line's coming together. It's all about continuity with that group, chemistry with that group. It's 5 guys playing as one. If you have 4 guys and one guy's kind of doing his own thing, the offense isn't going to be good. So the great offensive football play starts with the O-line, and those guys are starting to come along.
Is Philly going to be nuts between the Soul, the Eagles, and the Phillies?
I don't know. Phillies, I'm not worried about them. I like the Phillies. I'm rooting for them, of course. JJ and I have a bet. He's obviously a Houston fan. Tough one last night, but you flush that loss and move on, and hopefully find a way to win this one in Philly. We need this one. Just some outfits, Gentleman's bet.
Thank you.